Walking home late at night, maybe 2:30. A little drunk, but I'm alright, 'cause I've been hanging with you, and it feels like love. Tell me if I'm wrong, 'cause it feels like love. Yeah, it feels like love. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Don't know what you do, but you make me feel fine. And you can't deny we are not just killing time. You should let me know if you want this true. Baby, you just make me feel crazy. A little crazy for you. Hey. I think about you and I want you here with me. Am I out of my mind, or is this how it should be? You made me sing about love, so just tell me if I'm wrong, but it feels like love. Yeah, it feels like love. Yeah. Don't know what you do, but you make me feel fine. And you can't deny we are not just killing time. You should let me know if you want this true. Baby, you just make me feel crazy. A little crazy for you. A little crazy for you. Hey. A little crazy for you now. A little crazy for you now, baby. I'm a little crazy for you now. A little crazy for you now. A little crazy for you now, baby. I don't know what you do, but you make me feel fine. And you can't deny we are not just killing time. You should let me know if you want this.
All right. Good evening, Wood Hounds, and everyone out there who's joining us. If you're here for the first time to the Back 40 live stream, welcome. We do have a special guest tonight. Adam from Hometown Acres is going to be joining us. So, yeah, and I got to give a shout out quick to Gringo Pines. I don't know if he's still on here, but he did leave a little super chat there before the show started. So with that, let's get the Back 40 live stream kicked off like we always do every week. Raising our cups up, putting the week behind us, and looking forward to the weekend ahead. So cheers, everyone. Oh, so yeah, we are ready to go. Hopefully, you guys are ready for a good show tonight. Like I said, Adam's here, and yeah, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. So I guess we're just gonna jump right into it because I don't want to waste any more time. So with that, good evening, Adam.
Good evening. How's everybody doing? I'm glad to be here on the Back 40 live stream.
Yes, thanks for joining us. Looks like you got a nice little fire going there. Staying nice and toasty warm.
Out here in the wood shop, got the wood stove going. It's about, I think, 35 or 40 degrees out, and it's about 60 degrees here in the garage. So nice and comfy. Nice.
So yeah, we've got like I said, if you're new here tonight, there is one thing I will just forewarn you about. I've already filled Adam in on this. Every now and then, if somebody makes a donation to the channel, we raise our cups up and do a little toast. So, doesn't matter what's in your cup, you just raise them up and join in with us whenever that happens. And Adam, I do have the swinging ladies on tonight, so just be ready.
Okay.
So, Yeah. So how's everything going now in Pennsylvania? How's the family? How's the little guy?
Good. Yeah, the AJ's almost 9 months old now, and yeah, everybody's doing well. I'm count. We were talking last night. I'm counting down the days until I can get him out there in the Woodyard with me, and spend some time together doing that kind of stuff. But like you said, I probably got another decade to go before he's going to be able to help out.
Well, you can try to get him to help out, but whether he does or not, it might be only for a couple minutes and then wandering off.
Yeah. As
So
long as I can keep out of the video games.
that's right. So one other thing to everybody out there, I will try to grab some comments and questions if you have them. So leave them in the comments. I do have a few questions that were sent in, and right there is going to be our first time, Mr. Outside with Shibes. Okay, Adam, are you ready? We're gonna switch over here. We're gonna raise our cups up. So here's to Outside with Shibe. Thank you very much, my friend. Cheers. So we do have a couple questions that were sent in. And like I said, if you guys out there have questions, throw them in the chat. I may not get to them because it is pretty busy in here tonight, flying by. But we'll see if we can grab some out here and there. One question that I know somebody, I don't know who sent it in. They asked it on a comment a while ago, but they were wondering why you chose the Coyote tractor. They asked both of us, and I think your reason's the same as mine. So I'll let you go first.
So yeah, my biggest reasons for Coyote, the two most important things I looked at was loader lift capacity, because I knew I was going to eventually get into these IBC totes. And then the next thing was overall cost. I mean, every other brand I looked at was $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 more expensive for the same package. I got the third function valve, the loader with the bucket, pallet port, soft plate, and brush hog. And that package with everything else, all the other brands, was going to be quite a bit more expensive. And Coyote had the best loader lift capacity out of all of the tractors in the range that I was looking for.
Yep, that was my biggest factor as well, is lift capacity, because hauling around firewood that's you can end up dealing with a lot of weight.
What was your second choice?
It was probably going to be, I was between Kubota and John Deere, just because I have dealers close by, so I was able to go and see those actual tractors.
Yeah, my second choice was going to be a Kubota. I was looking at the L3301, but my dealer told me they had a lot of problems with the 33. So then I was going to look at the 3901. And honestly, I sat on them, and I'm a big guy. I'm 6'6". I've got a size 13 shoe, and their platform with the rocker pedal and that big hump in the middle, my feet didn't fit on the platform. So that was really kind of like my biggest, what steered me away. Otherwise, I probably would have got a 3901.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit for those who, hang on a second.
Here we go.
We got to jump back quick because Sid's Time Outdoors. Let me just jump back here. So Sid, and I should pop this out. I forgot to do this with Shibe, but here's to Sid's Time Outdoors. So thank you very much, my friend. Cheers. But I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of if there's viewers from your channel that are here, and I'm sure most of my subscribers and viewers have seen, your videos or your channel, but just give us a brief, how did you get into firewood?
So when I first started, 4 years ago, I was living down in the city of Pittsburgh, and we had a little fire pit in our backyard. And our lot was small. I could touch my neighbor's house from my house. So we had a fire pit out back, and we didn't have any firewood. And so I started looking on Facebook Marketplace for free firewood. And I found somebody that, I just had a tree dropped, and I went over there and they were cutting it up. I didn't even have a chainsaw at that point. And I bought, you know, a $20, $30 axe or something like that, brought it all back to my house, split it up, and tried burning it that same night. It was a green tree, so I had like a horrible time. I started looking into firewood a little bit more and, you know, learning some things. And then, you know, I just had such a good time just in the backyard when I got home from work, splitting wood, that, you know, before I knew it, I had like 2 or 3 cords in the back of my little city lot. And that was kind of what started it all. I had more than I could burn in my fire pit out back. So I started doing some research on, you know, can you make money selling firewood, and kind of went down the YouTube rabbit hole and actually found Outdoors of Morgan's. And that's kind of where, you know, I started really following YouTube and firewood channels. And I was like, that's kind of what I want. I want to get out of the city. I want to buy some land somewhere. And we ended up finding this property in my hometown with 44 acres, and the rest is history. You know, we started adding equipment and really hitting it heavy with getting firewood.
I remember that video you did, kind of showing that backstory. And my favorite shot was your backyard patio, like with the fire pit, and then the next shot was walls of wood all around it.
My entire backyard was surrounded with wood. I didn't have any more room in my backyard for firewood.
That was like I said, that was just my favorite. You know, out the back door, you just saw walls of wood.
And actually, I've never mentioned this on the channel, but my first chainsaw, I always say that the 455 Rancher was my first chainsaw. That was my first real chainsaw. My first chainsaw, I bought one of those Greenworks electric corded chainsaws because I didn't know any better. I was like, oh, it's got a 16-inch bar. I'm not really getting into wood more than 16 inches. That 16-inch electric chainsaw would not cut a 16-inch log. There was no way.
So then you moved to where you are now. And,
correct.
And then, like, I know, just like following your channel, you started with having all your wood, you know, stacked like down kind of along that fence, I think, or something.
Yeah, we started stacking along the fence. The only problem with that was that fence is kind of on a hill. And so I had quite a few piles just topple over just because it was on uneven ground. And so I kind of picked, you know, different, more strategic spots because I was kind of tired of restacking the same piles.
Yeah. So did Mrs. Hometown Acres ever complain about the eyesore of firewood stacks?
Surprisingly, no. I mean, occasionally, you know, if I let things get a little too out of hand, she'll tell me, go out there and clean that up. It looks like crap. But for the most part, she's actually pretty cool with it.
Well, that's good. That is key because. Oh, hang on. We gotta jump. We gotta jump over here for the Dude Ranch DIY. All right.
Their channel. They got some good stuff.
Yeah. So, cheers to all the Wood Hounds. Great story, Adam. So, cheers. Thank you very much, Dude Ranch. Yeah, I hope you've got that mini fridge back there stocked full, because. But so then, so you moved out to where you are now, and then the firewood. Obviously, you pursued that more, and it kind of just kept building and building.
Yeah, it keeps building, but it keeps changing. You know, like when I first started, I was primarily planning on just selling pickup truck loads of wood. And you know, just as well as I do, and probably most people watching here, you can never have enough firewood. And that's what I was finding was I was selling out of wood so fast, selling it by the pickup truck load. So really the switch to selling bundles is almost more of like an inventory control thing. You know, it's like I want to keep the wood in the yard. That way I'm not running out, you know, in August every year.
Yeah. And I saw on like one of your latest videos, you got the dump trailer, so you completed the package, so to say, the firewood package.
Yeah. I mean, there's always more things you can add, like obviously a firewood processor, but I don't get triaxle loads of logs. I mean, all the stuff I get is either from back in my woods or tree service wood or something. So a firewood processor for me would be kind of overkill. I'd be through the wood that I have to process in like 3 hours with the processor.
Yep. Yeah, that's the one thing too, is like if you don't, like, you know, I'm the same way, is tree service and, just what I cut down here and there. But, if you're spending time getting your logs to fit on there, you're not saving time. So, right. Hang on. Jay! Hey, Jay! He's a little tighter tonight, so everyone needs a drink, he says. So, here's to Jay. Thank you very much, my friend. Cheers. But so, have you with the dump trailer? How's your backing up skills?
I'm actually pretty good with backing up a trailer. I had a boat before this, and if you have seen some of my earlier videos, that big green tent that I have out there, that fabric building, that's what we originally bought that to keep our boat in. So I got pretty good at backing up a trailer with the boat, because if you've ever been to a boat slip or a boat launch and tried to back in a hurry, you've got 3 people waiting behind you, and it's one of those things. It's almost worth going to a parking lot and practicing before you go to the boat launch.
Yes, indeed. So now that you have the trick, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go.
I was going to say the longer the trailer is, most people that have backed up a trailer know it's easy, and that 7x14, it's a pretty long trailer, so it's pretty easy to back up. But if you've got like a 4x8 utility trailer, those things want to turn on you real quick.
Yeah. So So now that you got the trailer, you're mostly thinking of using that for retrieving wood back to your yard, not potentially getting into bulk delivery.
Depends on how production goes this year. We might get back into selling, cordwood. Like I said, I don't want to have all of my firewood go out of the yard in 2 weeks. So it depends on how production goes. I think right now, I need to do a firewood inventory video. A lot of people are doing those, and they seem to do well. I think I have probably 15 to 18 cords right now, and I'd like to get, by the time spring gets here, I'd like to get that up to 40 or 50 cords. If we get there, I might start getting into selling some cordwood.
Yeah, because that's you like you said, the main thing is the inventory.
Yeah. Once you run out, it's gone. And as I've talked about in my videos, there's more money to be made in bundles. So if you have the firewood there, you might as well get as much for it as you can. And so that way, if you're running out.
Yep. Well, outside with Shibe, this guy is a wild woodhound right here. He's in Pennsylvania too, so he just he wants us to raise those cups up again. So thank you very much, Mr. Shibe. Cheers. So we did have a question from I think it was Kyle. He was wondering, with stacking your wood, if you've noticed anything with how many rows of IBC totes deep, do you stack, or does it make a difference? If you have 2 side by side, how deep you go with your IBC totes?
So for me, with the IBC totes, I just stack them in one long row, and then I haven't completed a whole row yet. I mean, our one fence line is 200 yards long, so I've got a little ways to go to fill that up. But when I go to, when I run out of room there, I'll probably start another row, but I'll make sure I leave, at least enough room to get some equipment in between the 2 rows of IBC totes for drying purposes, and also just for, getting equipment through the yard.
Yeah. So you'll never put them back to back.
No. And I think, like we talked about for drying, even in the IBC totes, that's not 100% ideal. I think the best way to do it is to stack in single rows. In those IBC totes, you're getting 2 rows of wood in there.
Yeah.
I wish they made IBC totes that were just, a single wide, so wood's going to dry better in there. But yeah, I mean, best you can do is just give it time. It's still going to dry. Be a little slower in the totes.
Yeah, so you have the advantage. You have a lot of room. When you're limited on space, you sometimes end up, having to only leave a foot or 2 in between each one, and yeah, it's a gamble.
even though we have a lot of space, we're here in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is very hilly, so we don't have a whole lot of flat ground. Flat ground is hard to come by.
And then let's see, there was one other question. Well, actually, somebody earlier, I saw a comment fly by. Somebody was wondering about if you ever got the deer.
No, you know what? Last year I hunted a lot. I hunted probably 3 or 4 days a week, 4, 5, 6 hours at a time. And I kind of got burnt out last year. You know, I'm a little bit of an impatient person. I guess I would say I'm a bad hunter. I don't have the patience for it. And so I went out and sat a couple of times this year, and I don't know. I felt like, man, I got other stuff I could be doing instead of sitting here not getting deer. You know?
Yeah, yeah. It does. It does require time. And,
yeah,
you know, when you have a lot going on, it's just like, that's the one thing that always seems to be like, there's never enough time, you know, especially in the winter now. You get done with work, you got an hour before it's dark. And
right.
I got one question we'll jump back to, but we got to jump over to Build Life. So thank you very much, Build Life. Cheers. And raise your cups up, Wood Hound team, Wood Hound drink. So Shibe was wondering if you stack your totes, or if you plan to stack your totes on top of each other.
I don't think so. Just because once you get, you know, 4 or 5 feet up off the ground, that's quite a bit of weight and leverage to have on the tractor. Honestly, even lifting them up into the bed of my truck is, you know, kind of high to be lifting those up. I mean, it does it just fine, but, you know, the back end definitely gets light the higher you go up.
Yep. Yeah.
I need some really good ballast on that tractor.
Oh, and here's a good question. What do you do with the plastic bladders?
So I haven't found. Well, looks like we got another round here.
Oh,
we'll get to that when we come back.
Yes. Oh, that old guy, Harry, my friend. Thank you very much. Here's a big team Wood Hound drink to Harry. Thank you. Cheers. Everybody likes those swinging girls. You get some swinging girls, and it's crazy.
So I haven't found a really good solution. I'd like to recycle them because, you know, I don't want to see them go to a landfill, but all the recycling places around me, they're only interested in scrap metal. I've called everybody within like an hour of me, and they only want scrap metal. Nobody's taking plastic. So what I've been doing is, you know, I cut the tops off to make like a rain cap for the cage, and then I'll cut down the 4 corners and kind of fold it in on itself so it takes up less room. And then, you know, I've been taking them to a local place like a dump that, you know, takes trash.
Yep. Yeah, I cut mine diagonally and then make the teepee dome, you know. But
right.
But that gets a little weird looking in the Woodyard to have all these white teepee tops hanging out there. So, oh my, John Bradley. Thanks for being real, so we can all relate. Here's to Adam from another Pennsylvania boy, Pensy boy.
Cheers.
Yes, thank you very much, John. Cheers. But I've seen all kinds of stuff you can do with those. I mean, I know. I don't know if Whacking Axes is on here, but he made like a little sled to haul wood with, and then he figured out a dimension where if you cut the top off and cut the bottom, you're left with like the plastic that you can unfold and like cover your wood stack with. So, you know, there's all kinds of cool stuff.
My original plan for them was I was going to try to use them as, you know, some rainwater catch we planted like 40 blueberries down in the bottom of the field. I was going to try to use them for that because what's stored in them is bark mulch dye. And, you know, you figure you put, you know, bark or mulch around your house and stuff, it's got to be, I don't know this for sure, but it's got to be, you know, biodegradable or, you know, at least if putting it that close to your house. It can't be that poisonous or whatever. But that stuff's kind of a pain to get out there. I tried pressure washing it out, and it still is tough to get clean. So I just, I'll figure out something else for irrigation.
I know I had 2 of them for a rainwater collection, and like if you don't have them like inside, or if any sunlight hits it, they just get full of algae and sludge, and then your water gets plugged up, and it's a bit of a pain in the butt, but yeah. Oh, hey, the one thing I was wondering with your private campground, has anyone fallen over the edge?
No, thank God, nobody's fallen over the edge yet. That is like the number one comment I get on that video is you need to put a fence up, but it's funny, whenever I take my friends back there, they're the complete opposite. They're let's put a rope swing, let's build like a 3-tiered deck down the side, and let's do a zip line across the ravine.
Yeah, I think it looks like, it probably looks different on camera, but I was the same way. I was like, holy moly's.
Yeah, if you see it in person, it's a little terrifying. I usually don't get within about 3 or 4 feet of the edge, because if you fall down that, you're either going to be dead or wish you were.
So you moved out. Did you start your YouTube channel after you moved out to where you are now, or was it before?
So we bought this house, or this property and house, in December of 2018. And I think our first YouTube video went live somewhere near the end of January. So we were in here for about 2 months when I did my first video.
And then, and you said, like, I think you touched on before, like outdoors with the Morgans is kind of what was your like inspiration?
I used to watch a lot of TV and whatnot, and then once I started getting into Firewood, that's when I started looking at YouTube, and I watch YouTube exclusively now. We don't have cable,
Yeah. Oh boy. Armin's High Life. Hey, we gotta jump over. Armin, thank you very much, my friend. Cheers.
Cheers. I need a refill.
We've run them. It's almost that time. It's almost the bottom of the hour. That's when we usually have the refill. So we're doing good. But yeah, so then you like, what was your first splitter? The Easton made 1022 or whatever it was.
No, the first splitter was a Yard Max 25 ton, just a regular residential box store splitter. And, I'm not going to knock a box store splitter. For most people, that's all you need. Most people don't need a commercial splitter. It's really only if you plan on selling firewood. And even then, if you look at Chris from In the Woodyard, I mean, he went with, I think it was a Champion, or he had some 25 ton splitter for years that he finally wore out. I mean, just completely wore it out.
Yeah.
So you can still sell firewood with a residential splitter, but it depends on how hard you want to make it on yourself.
Right. That's exactly. It's like, if because if you just are making firewood for your personal burning use, like if you have a boiler or something, maybe 10, 12, maybe max 15 cords a year if you're really burning a lot. But yeah, you can, you can get that done with, like Wood Hounds Senior, my mom and dad, that's all they use is little, I think it's a Yardworks splitter, and when you're not under any, time constraints, you don't need to meet a production quotas. It's just it gets the job done.
Yeah, I remember one of your live streams a couple weeks ago. I asked Wood Hounds Senior when he started splitting firewood, and I think he said, forgive me if I'm wrong, but 1979 or something like that. He's been split wood for a while.
Yeah. And now you have the Axis. And
yes.
My first question, how close have you come to getting a finger under the wedge?
All right, so I haven't come close to getting a finger under the wedge, but I did have, when you get those pieces where you didn't make quite a square cut on the end, I was sitting there holding the log, just like this, and it did one of those things where it kicked out from under and jammed my thumb a little bit. So it was the log that kicked out and hit my thumb. But yeah, I haven't had any issues with really getting my hand, because you keep your hands on the side of the log.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, you just think, because sometimes, like, you can see your thumbs on the top, and, like, if you're,
Yeah, I usually only do that after the wedge has gone all the way down through so that I can pull the pieces apart.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it's kind of a little learning curve, just getting disciplined and,
The one thing you do have to be careful of is if, after the wedge has gone down through and you put your hand, your thumbs on top to try to pull the logs apart, if for whatever reason that log gets stuck on that wedge, it's coming back up, and then it has those two, metal braces that will, pull the log back off. So you could get your finger pinched there, but again, it's just you gotta pay attention. You're working with heavy machinery. You gotta pay attention.
Oh boy, the Kelly's Country Life. Hey, thank you very much, my friend. Thank you very much. Team Wood Hound drink to the Kelly's Country Life. Cheers. And the only reason I asked that about your fingers is because today,
oh boy,
this is the time of the year where when you're moving blocks of wood around, it's like I was just grabbing this round and it tipped and smashed my finger against the wedge. And I was like, oh, my God. Just, And then, a little while later, I was grabbing one, and it tipped onto another round, and I smashed my thumb. It's like there's always stuff to watch out for.
I think I'm probably most likely to pinch my finger in between two rounds than I am on the splitter.
Yeah.
If you're rolling logs or something like that, or trying to pick one up, and it drops on you and falls in another one with your hand in between them.
Yep. I've done that many times. So I did have another question.
Ohio. I was going to say, I think Ohio Woodburner, when he did what has Firewood done for me, he started it off with, it's given me a bum knee, and I can't tell you how many bruised fingers and.
Exactly. Yeah, it's there's a lot, and like this is the time of the year where you start, if you're meeting with your friends or people who do firewood and you're hanging out, you're going to see the purple fingernails. And But Stan Nelson, I don't know if Stan is here tonight or not, but he was wondering, kind of related on the YouTube side of things, if there's ever been a video that you would want to redo or take that you wish you wouldn't have done.
That I wish I wouldn't have done.
That you'd like to take back. Oh, hang on a second. Think about that while you take a sip. Because Richard Healy is coming in at the bottom of the hour like he does. So thank you very much, Richard. Cheers, everyone. And that's right on cue for the bottom of the hour, round 2 refill. So yeah, has there ever been a video where you put it out and then you got thinking about it and you're like, you know what? I wish I wouldn't have done that. Or I wish I would have made it different.
Usually I catch those ones before I ever upload them. There's been a number of times where I've gone out and started filming a video and I get halfway through it and I'm like, nobody cares. I'm just scrapping this. I'm going to wait for a better idea, wait for the light bulb to go off again. But ones that I have posted that I wish I could redo, back when I first started, I didn't really understand the whole, copyright with the music and stuff. So I had a couple copyright claims where I basically, if you go back and look at some of my videos, you'll see I went in and completely just stitched in a new audio, and you can't edit quite as well in YouTube Studio as you can in, before you upload it. So there's some older videos, if you go back, they had some copyright claims, and I had to go back and change out the music to something that was, had no copyright on it.
Oh boy. Prop Talk Farm. Prop Talk. Cheers. Thank you very much. Yeah, if I once I started, I was like, once I post something, if I don't have it ready by the time I publish it, then I shouldn't have published it. So if it's published, I just forget about it. I'm done. Like I walk away. Oh, let's see here. What was some? Did we have another? There was another question. Oh, Stan had another question. Let's see here. Where is it? Have you ever built a design into any of your firewood stacks? Like, I don't know if you ever seen.
I've seen the ones where somebody, like put a tree horizontally with the branches and stuff and the different colored, wood fibers that, you can see it. I have not. YouTube is about as creative as I get. Most people know I'm an accountant, so I'm pretty much black and white when it comes to the creativity side. That part of my brain just doesn't work. So for me, it's split wood, stack wood, move on. I wish I was creative.
Well, the only thing is though is like because I've seen those and I've thought about it, and then
right.
I just think of it and I'm like, well, I'm going to be taking it down after, a year or whatever. So yeah, it's been tempting though. Let's see. I think there was another question that flew by here. Oh, right here, Jay. How do you balance your day job with firewood work?
So this time of year, it's kind of tough because when you get out of work, you've got like maybe an hour. So I'll go outside and I talked about this in the other video. I don't like to do one task for more than a half hour to an hour at a time anyway. So I'll go out and run chainsaw for an hour or something like that, come inside, eat dinner, and I'm in for the night. But in the summertime, I'll run the chainsaw for a half hour, split for a half hour, kind of switch back and forth. So in the summertime, it's a lot easier. This time of year, it gets tough.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, and like, the one thing with, like for you and for me, that's different. When you think of firewood, you think of, in the winter, burning to heat your house. But when you're selling like bundles and recreational wood, it's like your time to make the wood, like I'm not slammed right now with people buying wood. So like I have that, little lull to catch up. But,
yep.
But
yeah, I know. I did a video a little while ago about, I've got different seasons, like April through like September or October is like selling season. And then this time of year is production season. And I know there's guys out there that'll say, I sell wood, all year round, or I'm producing wood all year round. And I'm like, that's just not the business I'm in. I'm in the bundle business and it's seasonal, it's cyclical.
Yep. Yeah, because, I mean, there's always the two things. There's getting ahead and staying ahead. And then, and I don't know if you've experienced this or not, but like when I first started setting up the roadside stand and doing things, like I would like get like somewhat like slight anxiety because I'd be like, oh my gosh, if somebody comes and buys all this wood, I don't have anything left.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it, it's funny because we talk about how much we want to sell firewood, but when it comes down to it, we hate to see it leave the yard because that just means your inventory is going to
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So, so you hooked up, you have your connection with your tree service guy. Like, how has that been going? Like, how's it working out?
It's sporadic. Sometimes we'll get together 2 or 3 times a month and then we'll go, a month without, having any work or something like that. And he's kind of all over. So he only contacts me when he's got a job within, 10, 15 minutes of the house because he knows that we're towing my trailer or my tractor wherever we're going.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hit or miss depending on the location of his job. So he usually hits me up for the local ones.
Yeah, that's the one thing, like, I have only pretty much one main guy now that I'm kind of been working with, but like you'll see coming up in a video soon, like recently the last 2 days, he's been working just 2 miles up the road, taking down these 2 great big maple trees. So like right now I'm just buried. And it's like, huh. But then, you know, that's the other thing is like, it's hit and miss. And I mean, I know a lot of people always say like, oh, the tree service wood is, you know, you get what you pay for or whatever. But like,
right.
With what you're doing and like what I'm doing, like you can still take and find those pieces that split down in a nice bundle of wood, you know, bundle grade wood.
Oh yeah. Like there's some pieces that, you know, most people wouldn't even bother with. You know, they're 30 inches around and they've got 2 big knots on it, but there's probably still 20 to 25 good pieces out of there. And then the 10 or so that are, you know, crooked and knotted up, that's what I burn. That's what goes in the wood stove right here, you know? So yeah, and especially with the axis, just a single wedge, it really lets you work around those knots and kind of pick out the good pieces of it.
Yeah, because if you, with that axis, you can take a big round and split it in half, and then the pieces just sit on that table, right? I mean, it's pretty much.
It's a huge work table. That's probably my favorite part about it is the work table is, you know, waist high and it's massive. You know, it's you've got like 2 or 3 feet on the left side, and then you've got 2 or 3 feet on the right side, and then you've got the whole log lift. So if you crank that up, then there's another 2 or 3 feet. So yeah, those big rounds, they bust into a lot of pieces. And, you know, if you're, you know, hucking them or splitting them into, you know, eight different huge pieces, you can kind of spread out and keep your workstation clean, which is one thing I'm kind of obsessed with, is keeping the workstation clean.
Yeah. And so overall, the axis, have you noticed your right calf muscle getting stronger?
Everybody asks that, and no, it's in, you know, it's not like driving a clutch in a car. It's all ankle. There's no hip involved. It's just right there. It's like it's literally 2 inches off the ground. So it's just rocking I would equate it to stepping on your you know, hydrostatic transmission pedal on your tractor. That's all the harder it is.
Yeah.
You don't get tired driving your tractor or driving your car.
Tom Waldo wants to know if did you find a solution to the conveyor issue?
No, not yet. I think it's just going to be one of those things where, you know, if you have a 7-foot conveyor, it still is going to load the trailer. You know, you're still going to be able to load it probably 60 to 70% of the way full. And then once you get it about that full, you kind of run out of clearance underneath the conveyor, and then you're going to have to start pushing wood around to level out the dump trailer. Whereas if you had like a 16-foot conveyor, you could have it drop right in the middle and it would all spread out and whatever. But, you know, it comes with, like I said in that video, it's that splitter is meant to be portable. And if you had any longer of a conveyor through there, you wouldn't be able to go in.
Yeah, but I mean, even with a longer conveyor, you'd still would get that you know, cone shape. Like you'd still have to spread it out. I mean,
yeah, but I think you could probably wait until you were like completely done, because it wouldn't be jumping up against the bottom of the conveyor. And
so you haven't thought about backing the trailer to the conveyor and then turning the conveyor on super high and launching the piece?
I did do that, and I think that would work for Joe with Ohio Woodburner. He has that Yappa, and it has a rubber belt on it. And I think those rubber belts probably really kick the speed up on them. But with a chain belt, I don't know. I don't like running it at a super high speed, just because it's metal on metal, you know, all of those gears and everything.
Yeah.
It has I think it would go fast enough. It's got setting 1 to 10, and I haven't taken it above like 5, just because I don't know. I don't like running a metal belt or a metal chain on 10.
Yeah, but then I think you also said that if you turn up the conveyor, you do draw power from your wedge, right?
Yeah. So I would say that your splitting force is still the same, but you lose your cycle time in the retract. Like, because normally when you split down, it's the same speed no matter what. But if you have the conveyor on speed 2, it pops right back up. But if you have your conveyor on speed like 5 or 6 or something, it slowly comes back up. So, and it's probably no slower than like a box store splitter. But when you're used to what the axis can do and how fast it is, it feels like it's taken forever.
Yeah. I have to get back to this. Somebody had something and they said here, but have you thought about possibly like almost having like somewhat of a loading dock where you have your axis up a little higher than your trailer? You know, like have a little raised ground and.
So I have, like truck ramps, to do an oil change underneath something. And I've thought about that, but the problem with that is then your log lift isn't touching the ground and your pedal's not on the ground either.
No, like have it to where the ground is lower where your trailer is, so your trailer is down.
And that's what other people have said. That we've gotten that a lot in the comments. Why don't you dig out like a little trench for the dump trailer so it sits below ground level? Then you got to worry about drainage issues, and you're basically building a bathtub for the
yeah, that's true.
Which, if you're driving it through salt and stuff, might not be a bad idea to get all that salt off of it.
So, the old school millennial was wondering, what is your favorite all-around grapple? He's looking for one for his tractor.
So, the brush grapple. Before I had a grapple, I really wanted that brush grapple. And don't get me wrong, it's a great grapple. It'll do everything you need it to do, but it's wide. And when you're dealing with logs, I really like that brute force log grapple. And you don't have to get a brute force log grapple. I would just recommend any log grapple if you're doing firewood. Most people in this channel are doing firewood. I would recommend a log grapple. Now, if you want it to be multi-purpose and you're going to be doing a lot of tree cleanup and doing brush and tree tops, then maybe the brush grapple would be better because it's a little more universal. You can do a lot more with it. But I think you can still do brush with the log grapple.
Yeah. But how many, let's say you took a 10-inch diameter log. How many could you pick up with that at once?
10-inch diameter logs, I would say probably maybe 6.
Okay, so
I know I did. Go ahead.
It does have like a pretty big, force to cramp them down.
The opening on the log grapple is definitely bigger than the brush grapple too. So I would say I'm usually more limited by my tractor's lift capacity than what I can get inside the grapple with the log grapple.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to do a video. That's a question I get a lot too. Is now that you've run the log grapple, which one do you like better? So, video done.
Well, there you go. We're getting ideas for content and everything here tonight. So, all right, we gotta go see the girls again because Outside with Shibe. Thank you very much, Shibes. Everybody, raise those cups up. Cheers to Outside with Shibe. Yeah, because that's the one thing I noticed today when I was moving logs around with my pallet forks is I could put 3-4 10-inch logs, and then I would just throw on a whole bunch of 6-8-inch ones on top of that, and I could get a pretty good load. And I always thought I wonder if I just came in, with the grapple, if I could grab that much,
So the other thing with a grapple is they're a lot heavier than pallet forks.
Yeah.
So I think, pallet forks are maybe 100, 150 pounds, something like that. I think both of those grapples out there are in the 500 to 600 pound range. So I think, both of our tractors will lift 1,800 pounds. So right off the bat, you're down to 1,200 pounds of lift capacity. And that's at the pins. You're not carrying 6 logs at your pins.
Yeah. Somebody before, I think it was Paul Wagner, just wanted to give you a shout out for the video on your chain sharpening. He said that was a good video.
I hope some people enjoyed it because, it's like one of those things you talk about chainsaw sharpening. Everybody's got their own opinion on how to do it, and you know what? You got to have thick skin on YouTube. I guess that's all there is to
say. That's why I think if you go back through all my videos, you won't find one of those. Because I just I'm not, at a skill set yet for just the hand file. So I use that steel 2-in-1. So
I haven't used it yet, but I've heard really good things about it.
Yeah, for me it just works nice because it's got the depth gauges built in, so you're hitting your raker and your tooth at the same time. So, but yeah, that's one of the things that it's it's a
yeah. I've tried a bunch of different stuff because I really, I've heard people talk that, it took me, a decade or 2 decades or something to figure out how to really get a sharp chain by hand filing, but they're so glad they did it. And I was like, all right, I got to just start somewhere, and I tried all those different gadgets. Like I said, those little Dremel bits and the chainsaw grinder. And don't get me wrong, all those things, they have their place, but for finish filing, I think you got to do it by hand. Like a grinder, if you really jack up a chain, the grinder is really nice to have to kind of take back a lot of metal real quick. But yeah, for fine finishing the chain, I think it's got to be hand filed.
Yeah. We got a quick jump over because Sid's Time Outdoors is heading out for the night. So he wanted to say good night. He's got to run. Get the blade on the gator. So, cheers, Sid. Thank you very much.
So, Dan, I've got some questions for you on your roadside stand because I really want to build one this spring. What, you haven't had any theft problems, or either people stealing money or people stealing bundles, or that's my biggest concern.
I've never had anybody steal any money. I haven't had anybody steal any bundles or wood. Well, sort of. I did notice that one time somebody came and got a stack, and then the stack next to it, there was a few pieces off the top that they just added in. But no, I've actually had pretty good luck. I've had a couple times where people took 4 bundles but paid for 2. The advantage I have though is I'm fairly close to my house, and and I have cameras set up, and I do have a sign on the stand that says, you are being recorded, property is under surveillance. So, I kind of put that up as a bit of a deterrent. I have had, or I've heard of people putting up either trail cams or a fake camera, mounted. You can just get a camera that, it just has a little red blinking light. So I don't know. But yeah, I haven't run into any real issues.
That reminds me of what they used to have on the school buses growing up. They'd always have those cameras on the school buses with a little red light that was blinking. And I guess, the rumor, in elementary school was that, there's only 2 real cameras and all the rest are fake. And so we were onto them.
Yeah. But no, it's if you have a decent traffic flow, or even, all I do is I put up an ad on Facebook Marketplace, and, I wait for people to message me before I give them my address. I don't just post my address. And so I kind of know when people are coming. So then, I can just watch or I can just be out there and be around.
Yeah, I'm curious with the difference of how close your house is to your roadside stand versus how far away my house would be from, my road frontage. Because I think our gravel driveway is probably 300 yards long. If we'd be more susceptible to theft, or if it really wouldn't make a difference. I think probably if I put up those signs like you're talking about, it'd probably be all right. But
yeah,
we'll test it out and see.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's for the most part, like I said, I always, well, I used to, always know when people were coming because they'd message me. But now, this year, it's been like a lot of just repeat customers, so I don't know, But, like I say, I mean, you just got to have faith in people.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, the way I see it is if somebody comes and steals 2 bundles of wood, they obviously need it more than I do. So,
Yeah.
it is what it is. It goes with the territory of selling firewood.
Yeah. And, it is what it is. I mean, so yeah, it's and I was going to actually rebuild mine, because I found like having the stacks in the front and the back that people never go around at the back. So I don't know what your design plan is, but I would when I redo mine, I'm just going to have, 1 row of loose stacks and then that I can just load from the back and, not have.
Have you seen those firewood lockers? You ever seen them?
Yes.
Yeah. There's like a little, credit card machine at the end of it, and you say, I want, 5 lockers of firewood, and then they, once your credit card payment goes through, the lockers just open up. I'm like, man, that's a little too high tech for the firewood industry.
Have you seen the price tag on them?
I remember seeing it and thinking it was astronomical, but I don't remember how much they are.
Yeah. It was like, I would probably have to sell like bundles for 10 years to see a profit.
Yeah.
But I have been at campgrounds where they had those. Yes.
Really?
Yeah. I've seen one at campgrounds.
The campground makes sense. They probably turn that over 3 times in a weekend.
Yeah. And, it's kind of like, for me, I mean, at a campground, if you want to have a fire, you need the wood. But, like, I just feel like if I would have something like that, like, I have a feeling like customers want to see what they're getting before they pay.
Right.
Because it's weird.
They probably want to pick out their bundles.
Yeah.
And if you got a machine deciding for you which lockers you're going to get.
Well, you have a 24-inch door and you open it up and there's 18 inches of wood. Like, what are you going to do? It's like, oh, that was a ripoff. But
well, it looks like Joe at Ohio Woodburner did a little research for us. He said they're $15,000.
Yeah, I think that's, I knew they were way up there. So,
Too much for a roadside stand.
Yeah. But it's weird because, like, I have 3 stacks, on the, like, loose on the front side of the stand. And it's always funny to me how, like, somebody will come and they'll take the furthest stack or the middle stack.
Yeah.
Like, why did they pick that stack? So. But, Outside with Shibe was wondering how many pieces are in your average bundle.
It depends on how small I split them. So I would say my average bundle is probably 6 to 8 pieces. If they're big pieces, it's like 3 across the bottom and the top row of 3. And then if they're smaller pieces, I'll set 2 more on top. But I have a guy that comes back to me regularly, and he wants, for wood to throw in his smoker, his offset smoker. And he wants his stuff split really small. And I would say every bundle I make for him, I'd split them probably 15 to 18 pieces just because they're almost like kindling.
Yeah.
I do charge him extra for the small splits because it takes extra time to split down kindling. I'm selling them kindling bundles.
What is your ideal average split size? Like, what do you aim for?
Really quick. Well, you know what? Here, I'll show you. I got a piece right here. For bundles, I would say this right here. This is about perfect. So I don't know. Here's my finger. Here we go. Here.
Yeah. So 3 to 4 inch probably.
That's a perfect bundle.
Yeah.
What's that?
So like 3 to 4 inch splits about.
I would say 4 inches is probably pushing it. I would say maybe 3 by 4. I think 4 by 4 is too big. 3 by 3. I would say 3 by 3 or 3 by 4.
Yeah.
Like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's typically what I do is I have a certain mark on my main wedge that I put my 4-way down at. And then everything I send through the bottom, I know is going to be that size. So, I just send it through again. If it's like 5 inches, I'll just send it through and then have a, little smaller split off. But
Yeah.
And you burn wood as well, right, in your house?
Yeah. We have a wood stove insert, and we don't burn 24/7. I mean, I would say it's our primary heat source like a couple months out of the year. Like, January and February, we have the stove going 24/7. We turn our thermostat down. But this time of the year when we're getting like 45-degree days or something, I'm usually not burning. Natural gas is so cheap around here that I really only burn when I can run the stove 24/7, because I hate letting the fire go out because it's 85 degrees in the house. So when the temperature is up and down, I usually just let the natural gas do the heating.
Well, the woodchucker wants to raise those cups up. So cheers, woodchucker! Thank you very much.
Cheers.
So one thing for everybody out there that I see we don't have to stop at 9 if you can stay up a little bit later, Adam, if you can hang out.
Oh yeah, I'm good.
But everybody watching, once this video is posted, what I'm going to be doing is Adam's got his online store that he's got some merch up in. So I'm going to be doing a giveaway where I'm going to pick like a couple do the random comment picker. So after this video is up, if you want to win a Hometown Acres t-shirt, leave a comment, and then I'll go back, do a random comment picker, and then I will get you a Hometown Acres t-shirt. So keep that in mind.
That's awesome, Dan. I appreciate that. That's cool.
But yeah, he's got and then if you go over, I think you have like a store tab, right, on your homepage?
I think underneath every single video there should be like direct. They've got like little thumbnails of all the different T-shirts and sweatshirts and whatever underneath all the videos. I'm not sure on the actual homepage. I guess.
Hang on a second.
Into that really.
I'm gonna pull this up 1 second. All right. Let's see. I think this is it. There we go.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
So there's the online. Yeah, he's got a store tab on his YouTube page. So, like I said, once this video is posted, come back, leave a comment, and we'll pick out a couple T-shirts to give away. So yeah, like I said, I normally go an hour, but it's just gone by so fast that there's like so much to.
It really has gone by. I can't believe it's 10 o'clock already.
Yeah, it's so I guess let's see, who is no, hang on a second. Oh, so is there anything if we're getting ready to wrap this up? Any closing? Oh, hang on a second. We do have last call coming in here, so we'll jump over to the Jacobson Project. Thank you very much, Cheers. Jacobson Project. Cheers, everyone. But yeah, if there's anything you want to wrap up with, any words to the Wood Hounds?
I would say, if anybody out there is thinking about selling firewood, it's a really fun hobby. I know people do it full time and whatnot, but I really like doing it as a hobby, and it's a great way for me to get away from my computer and away from my desk and get some exercise and blow off steam. And that would be my probably final thoughts. It's a great hobby, and there's a lot worse things you could be doing out there. So,
yeah, I mean, and the funny thing is that like one. I mean, oh, hang on a second. Shy wants us to stay a little bit longer, so we'll go into overtime tonight. So all right, Shy, thank you very much. Yeah, we'll go.
I was gonna say I actually got a few more questions for you if we're staying on.
Okay.
So, what would be your next piece of equipment? I talk about the equipment we've got here for Firewood all the time. Like, would you have a need for a side by side or anything like that, or are you good with the tractor and the splitter?
I think the tractor is all I would need as far as that. I mean, I am tossing around back and forth between like a possible like log grapple, like you said, and the other thing is just possibly like a conveyor.
Yeah.
Just because right now, I'm getting to be where if I could just direct the wood into an area and then, I mean, I don't know, it's it's not necessary, but it's like those nice to have things. I don't know.
Well, I would say with the conveyor, because you can let the wood pile up, you're going to let the wood pile up. And then it's almost going to be like an insurmountable task to get it all stacked. Because you're not going to want to start stacking what's hitting the bottom of the conveyor.
That is a good point. Oh my goodness. Hang on. You better grab another one because we are in a double overtime. We've got Marlon L. Thank you very much, Marlon, and Isaac Reichard. Cheers. Thank you, my friends. I'm going to have to refill myself. But that is a good point because I was thinking about this today because I did some splitting the last few days and I've just been hand tossing it into a big pile. And my thought was, well, I'll stack it later. But
honestly, that's my least favorite part of the whole process is stacking. I mean, the IBC tote makes it a little better, but yeah, it's still. I really should. If I had an unlimited supply of IBC baskets, I would just have the conveyor load right into there. But I don't have an unlimited supply of them, so that's why I'm taking the time to stack. I've found that you can get 20% more wood in a basket by stacking it. So, if you're short on baskets, it makes sense to stack it.
Yeah, see, all of my IBC totes, I just ran it off loose into it. And what I'm finding out now is that... So I was thinking about this the other day. Like, if I set an IBC tote with just loose wood in it, the amount of space that takes up is way more than if I would stack it. Like you were saying. So I'm like...
Well, and the other thing too is when you go to pull the wood out of the basket, if it's stacked, it saves you so much time when you're pulling it out because I found like even I have, junk firewood that I burn for myself that I just loose throw into the baskets. And when I go to try to pull it out, like there's pieces that are all jammed together and, it's all interlocked. And if you've got it stacked in there, it's a lot easier to grab the firewood when you take it out. So it's kind of like, put the work in ahead of time and it'll be easy later or make it harder on yourself later. So,
yeah. So our good friend Sid is back. Sid's back from getting the blade put on the gator. So welcome back, Sid. We're still here. We're in overtime. Cheers. Yeah, that's the whole thing is like, and the other thing I found is, and this is going to sound weird because you just said your least favorite thing is stacking, but like a couple days ago I was just stacking some wood and I was like, God, this is kind of, relaxing. I kind of miss, just stacking. And so I don't know.
I mean, if it's a nice day out and I take, my little Bluetooth speaker out and I'm just like taking my time and I'm not, racing around, it can be relaxing. But after about a half an hour, I'm like, I'm tired.
Yeah. Well, and like, I used to have Amanda come out and help me stack, but like, I'm kind of picky when it comes to my stacks of wood. Have to be like, in line and
Yep.
nice and straight. So like, I'd be like,
I think that's why my wife, she doesn't even try because she knows because I'm a control freak.
Yeah, I mean, she'll put a piece on and then I'll adjust it, and she'll be like, "What are you doing?"
It really doesn't matter, but it's just one of those things.
Hey, I think I saw Chris from In the Woodyard is here. Cut it all, split it all, stack it all. That's right.
I tell you what, I watch his videos, and his work ethic is like nothing else I've ever seen. It's crazy.
Well,
yeah,
that was part of my plan, was to get a like cheap conveyor and just make big piles and then invite him over for a day. And then, hey, show me how you stack that wood so quick.
Yeah, the video he did, I can't remember if it was yesterday or 2 days ago, or maybe it was even today. He unloaded the back of his Tundra in 3.5 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, gee, man, that guy works.
Yes. But yeah, the other thing I thought about is at like some of the farm auctions, I used to see these big, long, big hay conveyors for getting up into the hay barns, and I thought about getting something like that, not so much for like making big piles of wood, but just so like I could almost have it kind of horizontal and just direct the wood over to where I wanted it, so I could keep my splitting location centralized, but then just like, send wood out in different areas. But it's
almost like an Amazon packaging facility.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, shoot egg over here.
Yeah.
But that's the one thing with firewood is that, and I think Richard Healy mentioned this before, is like there's never really no like right or wrong way to do it. You just have to find your groove and what works for you, It's
and it all depends on your wood yard too. Chris's wood yard's different from mine, different from yours. Everybody's going to have a different process flow depending on the geography of your wood yard and what hazards you have to work around. Like if you've got a pond or a stream or something that runs through the middle of it, that all affects it.
Yeah, I learned I learned the hard way when we first built this house. They cleared some trees out and I had all this wood, and I stacked it against my neighbor's fence. And then I just kept adding to it. But then I realized the wood that I needed that was seasoned was in the back of the back of the pile. So I had 3 rows of, green wood, and behind it 2 rows of seasoned. So I was like, oh, this is great. Now I got to get back there to get it. I
remember I've made mistakes like that too before, where I would bring all my wood out of the, in the side by side, the blocks of wood, and I would stack them where I was going to be like splitting them and then stacking them. So I pretty much had to move all of the wood off of the pallets, split them, and then move them back. And yeah, it's just, you learn things as you go.
Yep.
You only learn by making mistakes. So.
So here, Bill, I won't try to say your last name, but because I'm bad with names. But he was saying to try the next size larger file on your filing. Have you ever done that?
Yeah, I had a lot of people commenting on that, and I was using a 7/32 file, and like I said, I've been doing firewood for 4 years, so I'm by no means an expert. But I thought that there was like 3/32, 5/32, and 7/32 file sizes. So I thought that was the biggest one, but maybe there's a bigger one. Let me know in the comments below. But
yeah, I think mine's 3/8. For my
3/8, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but I have heard that as well, and I think Buckin mentions that quite a bit, is to go up a size on the file.
Yeah.
So,
well, and a lot of people were saying, tighten your chain, tighten your chain. That chain was actually pretty tight. Like, if I had tightened it anymore, I wouldn't have been able to turn it by hand, by moving the chain, with the chain brake off. But, when I file up on the top edge of that cutting tooth, it's going to pull that chain up out of
the channel.
The channel
Yeah.
on the bar. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one thing I get a lot too, is that I run my chain too loose. But I just think that, if you can't move it by hand, it's too tight.
It puts a lot more stress on that sprocket on the end of your nose if you've got it like super tight.
Yeah. And like sometimes, like you can hear it, you can hear when your chain's running if it's too tight. And I don't know.
I was going to say, usually when I hear it is when I rev it and let off. And as it's slowing down, it comes to a stop a lot faster when you've got the chain too tight, and you can hear metal on metal.
Oh, there's the saw surgeon. See, the saw surgeon, he's got it. 13 64ths and 7/32 for 3/8 chain. Yeah, see.
I was using a 7/32. That's what I was using.
I gotta get one. I gotta try that. That's. Oh boy. The woodchucker is back. Woodchucker! Good stuff tonight.
Cheers.
Well, thank you very much, my friend. Team Wood Hound drink, everyone. Cheers to Woodchucker. Yeah, when I bought when I brought that saw home, the chain was so tight on it, it was just crazy how tight it was. But that's the one thing.
We've gone 75 minutes and we haven't talked about the Steel 500i. How has that happened?
Well, I would show it to you, but it's running the internet right now for my computer here. That does bring me to a point. A cheap plug here for Sunday's video. I got something pretty cool. Well, in my mind, it's pretty cool. So, but I do have it in the next video, cutting up some pine.
Now, do you still have to worry? This might be a dumb question, but do you still have to worry about leaving gas in the chainsaw and because you don't have a carburetor, right? It's all fuel injected, so you don't have to worry about injectors getting plugged up and.
I do not know.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out, right?
Yeah. With the amount of wood that I've got back there, it won't be taking a break for a long time.
Not going to be sitting idle.
Oh. But anyway, yeah, I don't know if there's anything else. I mean, I'm good with the overtime, but I don't want to get to the point where, it's like, well, we still have 164 people in here, though. Jeez.
Yeah, I think the highest we had was 175, and it hasn't dropped. People are tuning in.
Yeah, it's but I know there's a lot of people out there on the East Coast, so I don't know what how late of a night you want to be sitting by your computers. Oh boy, hang on. Here we go. We got Firewood at the furnace. Love both your channels. Just starting my small business with my son. All right. Well, cheers to that. Thank you very much, Firewood at the furnace.
Family business.
There definitely is the one thing that's cool to see, just with the whole community and people that are into firewood, is just how many people are actually doing the same things, selling selling some firewood on the marketplace or roadside stand, and it's just, that's one thing that I really enjoy. And I don't know if you get a lot of feedback like that, from.
Yeah, we get people that comment all the time about people that are just starting their businesses and asking for advice and stuff. And honestly, I love talking to people like that because they're invested in this kind of lifestyle, and it's cool to talk to people that are like-minded and think the same way. And
yeah.
So what I need to do is, I love your Wood Hound map that you've got. I need to do a plug on that in one of my videos to see if I can't get some people to sign into the Wood Hound map.
That is a good reminder. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can jump over there again. Yeah, so if you are new here tonight, if you go to, once again, thanks to Mr. Nick Pixel, if you go to back40firewood.com, you can go to the Wood Hound map of the world and add your location and put your little paw print on there. Yeah, it's crazy. That's
Do you have a total of how many people have logged into that?
No, I don't.
You don't
I don't have an account yet.
Yeah.
But that's the one thing that, when I first started and, people would leave comments and I'd start to kind of, comment back and forth with people. Like, I always, that was the one thing that intrigued me, is like, where are people from, and like, so I went and started looking into how I could get, just some type of, I don't know, a way to represent all the areas. But
yeah.
Oh, I think the saw surgeon had to leave. So if the saw surgeon is heading out, we might be getting too late.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, that's it. It is. I mean, I don't want to take up too much of your time, and I appreciate you coming on here.
Yeah, this was awesome. This was a lot of fun.
Maybe we'll have to have you back again for like a little, a revisit in a couple months. Have a couple other people on and have like a discussion panel.
I'm game.
I can't have you come over and help me stack wood because you're a little too far away, but.
Yeah, so I saw when we announced the live stream, somebody commented and said, "That's a long drive for you, isn't it? It's like a 20-hour drive." I was like, "I'm going to be in my garage. He's going to be at his house. Like, I'm not driving there for the live stream."
Oh, yeah. That's the beauty of technology.
Yep.
Beam us in. But yeah, so again, everybody, once we end this, if you just go back to the video, you can leave a comment below the video, and I will use the random comment picker to pull out a couple names, and then I'll get in touch with you because I'll need to find out what size and color you want of the shirt. So yeah, with that, I think that's going to do it. So again, Adam, thank you very much. Oh!
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We didn't even get to talk about the Splitter Wars. That's like the first time I met you, was getting together for Splitter Wars, and so maybe next time we'll have to discuss the.
Next time we'll talk Splitter Wars.
All right, so hang on. Let me jump over to our little closing credits here, or the closing screen, and we'll have to do one more raising up of the cup. So everybody, thanks for joining us tonight. Glad you were here. Thanks, moderators. Thanks to all the super chatters, and thanks to Adam again from Hometown Acres. If you haven't, check out his channel, check out his merch, and Outside with Shibe just came in for the last call again. So all right, with that, have a great weekend. Stay safe, have fun, and be cool, people. Cheers.
Cheers.